The reason why we give you a rose is because we want you to see yourself the way God sees you. He doesn't see you as a prophetess. He sees you as a rose, as a finished work of his glory. And that woman broke down, got on her knees, and accepted Jesus Christ. So we never know how or when or why Jesus called someone out of the evil work they're doing to become one of his. But he did that with Paul. So Paul felt like, you know what? You don't know anything about me. And Jesus called me. And when I was reading my devotion, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, something I read, I must have read it several times, but it really struck home with me. And in this verse, Acts chapter 23:11.
Twenty-three,
verse 11.
And that night following, the Lord stood by him and said, "Be of good cheer, Paul, for as thou hast testified of me in Jerusalem, so must I bear witness also at Rome."
Wow. I think that's the first time that I've read that Jesus came to one person to encourage them. Now he did with the disciples. Remember, after the crucifixion, he showed up in the room and told the disciples, "Don't be afraid. You know, it's me." And Thomas, remember, he said, "Thomas, come, touch me. See my hands." Now he did it for all the disciples, but for just one person, I think that's the only time I read that he appeared to Paul in prison to tell him, "Don't worry. It's okay. Because I've called you to preach to the Gentiles. The same as you're preaching now here in Jerusalem, you have to go to Rome." Rome was like Las Vegas. Big town, a lot of things happening, a lot of evil, a lot of sin, a lot of wickedness. The Caesar's there. Everybody, all the political people are there. That would be like Billy Graham going to the White House, telling the president, "You need to get saved." Yeah. Ooh, can't tell a president that on national TV, can you? Yeah. That's what it was like. Jesus said, "Don't worry. You have to go to Rome to preach the gospel." Wow. So when we go into chapter 2, in the first and second verse of Galatians, I'll read it. 14 years later, I went again to Jerusalem. This time I took Barnabas. Titus went with us also. God showed me a special way I should go. I spoke to them about the good news that I preach among the people who are not Jews. First of all, I taught them to know what I was preaching. I did not want that which I was doing or would be doing to be wasted. And then in verse 11, something happened between him and Peter. It says, but when Peter came to Antioch, I had to stand up against him because he was guilty. Peter had been eating with the people who were not Jews. But after a few men came who had been with James, he kept away from them. He was afraid of those who believed in religious acts, becoming a Jew. That verse is Galatians chapter 2, verse 11. So, this will happen. In Antioch, Peter was friendly with the Gentiles, sat with them, ate with them, talked with them, fellowship with them. But when his friends showed up, who were Jews, I don't know you. Wow. So he acted like, oh, you know what? You're lower than me. My friends are Jewish here. I can't talk to you. Wow. You see, we have to be careful. If we say we are Christians, we represent him. So anything we do outside of Christ, people will not look at us like, oh, Lisa, oh, Daryl. They look at, oh, that's a Christian. That's how a Christian acts. So when we blow up at work, or we refuse to do something at work, or someone tell us something and they don't look at you, the person. They don't say, ooh, Lisa. They go, oh, she goes to church. Wow, that's what they do in her church. That's how they act in her church. And it hurts the cause of Christ. Because people look at that and they go, oh, if that's a Christian, I don't want to be Christian. If Christians act like that, I don't want that. That's what Jesus taught. I don't want that. Now, serious. We represent him in everything we say, everything we do. And it's important that we realize that we're not representing ourselves, but we represent him. So before we even blow up, we need to just stop and say, Jesus, help me. Or just walk away. Pray and get yourself back to the Lord so that you don't say something that, because Jesus died for everyone on the cross, that none should be lost. And he's using us as his representative here on earth. Most people will never see. You want to say something, Pablo? You want to say something? You want to ask me what? Well, come. Because EU, he can't. His eyes can't go in front and see you. Let me ask you a question. Is gay lifestyle sinners? Okay, let me ask you a question. Is a liar a sinner? Is a liar, is he a sinner? Is an adulterer, is he a sinner? Is a thief, is he a sinner? No, I asked you a question. Is a liar, is that sin?
ไม่หรอก liar มันไม่ออสมันไม่ออสมันไม่ออส